From the great halls of their house, there assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. And our B-Man, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission? To fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for this episode. My name is Bill. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicki.
Miss Vicki. We have somebody, a guest.
Yeah.
A super secret guest.
Uh-huh.
We've never had a guest who drives this type of car before.
No, you know what? I am not really even familiar with the style of racing.
I know. I forgot to prepare her. I gave it away, her. But anyway, I forgot to prepare her that you're going to get very confused because you've done a rally, but it's nothing like the rally that she does. Nothing like the rally she does. Anyway, she is into rallycross racing, which we have never talked about, which is very exciting. She also is associated with the California Rallycross Association and trying to promote rallycross across the United States. And just in case that wasn't enough, she has been invited to test drive a Formula 3 car out in England with Fern GP. And super secret, she is also Natasha's sister. Her name is Skye Romanoff. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, stop.
I was building
the best intro ever.
Well, we got to get our superhero stuff in when we can. So, the last name lended itself very easily. So.
Marvel character, yeah.
Exactly. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm
excited. It should be fun. So, in spite of the fun that I have giving intros, and in spite of me being the only one who's ever willing to give an intro on our podcast, I'm not very good at it. So,
pretty good at it.
what did I miss? What haven't I told people? What do they need to know who Skye is?
Okay. So yeah, again, my name is Skye, Marvel character Romanoff.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty easy to remember. Yeah, he pretty much touched on everything. I am a rallycross driver, and I'm actually the founder of the California Rallycross Association. And on the Formula 3 team, it's a stepping stone. I'm not going to be jumping in that car immediately. There are some other things I need to go through, but we can chat about that soon.
We will. And we will.
That's about me. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. I had one more thing set up for the introduction. She apparently has a proclivity for boxer engines. I don't know why. We're not sure why.
Yeah, I like Subarus. Subarus a lot, even though they're not very reliable.
Yes, yeah. They are a known problem for what we do with endurance racing.
Yeah, which we're going to visit that.
How many head gaskets do you want to change it? But whatever.
They're moody girls.
They are. So, Skye, we touched on the Subaru and the, I don't know, how would we call that? The Subaru relative that you also race as well. So it's got a boxer engine in it, but technically it's it's not Toyota. It would be, what was it? Scion at the time, right?
Yeah. So I have a 2016 Scion FRS. It has Subaru on the motor. So I guess that counts as a Subaru, right? I mean, it literally is the same car as all the BRZ is, right? So I have that. I recently caged her. I have full suspension, tires, brakes, a little bit of aero, cooling mods. I really want to keep her stock, and she's kind of my intro into actual track driving, right? But I do, SCCA time trials. I race in all the tracks in Northern California. I work with a lot of track organizations, so she's my little reliable Subaru Toyota that I race.
Toyota
Toyota, yes.
How did you get involved in this? What was your tipping point?
In just racing, or
cars, racing, mechanicking?
Yes.
Okay, so
how did it start?
How did it start? So it actually started with motorcycles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I was really interested in, bikes. I really, really wanted at the time, I really wanted that bright green ZX6R, that was like iconic to, the early 2000s, right? When I was a kid. So I actually got my M1 before I actually bought my first car, my M1 license. So at the time when I was in college, I didn't even have a car, and I started working at Subaru as a sales associate. So obviously I'd ride the bike. I had a Ninja 250 at the time. So I'd ride the bike to work. And one of the service advisors there, he was involved in rallycross, and he just invited me out. I'm like, okay, I have a helmet. I have my bike helmet. Let's go try it out, right? And that was it. I mean, I came out and I absolutely got hooked. I hopped in and out of people's cars, and I wanted to do it myself. And that's what kind of led to the rallycross side of things, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
So you do time trials and you do rallycross. Any other fun-filled frolicking adventures?
So I do time trials when I can. It's definitely a little more expensive than rallycross. And now that I'm basically really trying to promote rallycross around the country, I'm mostly focusing on that. But with those two, I think we kind of touched on the Formula 3 thing. So recently I got reached out to by a team called Fern GP, Fern GP. I've known these guys for about 2 years now on Instagram. We chatted back and forth. And on International Women's Day, I liked one of their posts because they're primarily an all women's team, right? Which absolutely, that's so cool. Of course I have to support that. And, they reached out to me in my DMs, and they said they really liked my content, et cetera. And, I said, thank you. And it'd be really cool to go out to England and see you guys. And they're like, well, actually, so they invited me out to England to basically do some test days in their Formula Ford 1600, then go up to the 1800. And then depending on how I do with their, instruction, right, obviously their professional driving instruction, then, go into the Formula 3. Obviously I have to work my way up to that. So I think the biggest reason why I'm talking to them now is they're actually starting the first UK all-female single-seater team that encompasses all three of those cars. So I think that either it's a promotional thing where I can go out there a couple times a year and drive the cars under instruction and get the media and get the videos and all of that. If it's one of those, or they have brought up potentially driving with them in the 2024 season. So either way, it's a great opportunity, right? Absolutely, I'm interested in it, but I'm taking it one step at a time. Right now, it's only test days, right? I have hired a personal trainer to get me in a little more shape, and I'm taking professional lessons from a karting instructor, and I'm going to get it more track days, and I'm going to do my best to be the best I can be when I'm out there, right? They are sending me gear, it's a lot of their team gear to wear out here. I think we're partnering on a custom suit, to where I can wear that out here when I drive out there as well. So, could I end up on the team? Sure. But if I'm not, that's totally cool. I don't know. I'm
it's
taking
a good opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that it's really cool that they're starting an all-female team, right? Sure. So they have a current team right now that consists of mostly girls, and obviously, they have male drivers as well. But they're starting a separate team just for girls, and I think that for me, I'm a regular person. I'm not made of a lot of money. I do what I can. I'm in grassroots motorsports, right? So to have an opportunity like this can show other girls, hey, work hard enough, you could get in to potentially Formula 3, in a Britain's Formula 3, team. So I think it's a really, really cool opportunity to show other girls that they can do it too.
It would be impolite to tell them no if they invited you. You got.
Oh yeah, it's not. At first, I thought they were joking. At first, I thought they were just being nice in the DMs at first, and I was like, "There's no way." Maybe they're just saying it. When you say, "Oh yeah, you could totally come over whenever. Just let me know. And you're like, really, don't come over. I don't want to talk to you. I thought it was like, oh, okay, maybe it's one of those. And then I met with the owner. His name's Lee, and he's super nice. And a couple of other members of the team over Zoom on Sunday. And they kind of solidified it that, hey, they are serious about potentially an American coming over. So again,
Awesome.
Wow.
it's it's one thing at a time, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm going to be, but I do want to prepare the best I possibly can for an opportunity like this, right? And
Absolutely.
ultimately, if it ends up, like I said, I just go out there a couple times a year and I get photos and promote their awesome team and whatever else, I still get to drive their cars. Like that's pretty cool,
Right.
It's not
Give
so
it a
bad.
shot.
You're,
But I don't know.
you're okay.
We'll
It's
see.
not a Subaru, right? I mean, I just want to.
I think I'll manage. Okay. All right.
I didn't know if you were exclusive with the Subaru engine. So
I do own 3 Subarus, and all of my race cars are Subarus, so I do have a slight bias towards Subarus.
Seems
So
that way.
why do you choose a Subaru?
I think it just comes down to when I was just working at Subaru. When I was there, people there were so nice, and Rallycross is mostly Subarus, even though you can race anything.
Mhm.
And I think just me being surrounded by this amazing community of people, and everyone's there to support each other and help each other. And I don't know, the brand itself of Subaru and the people and just my experiences, I love it. I want to support that.
Cool.
So we
Yeah.
appreciate that you're trying to stay grounded and step by step and in the moment and work your way. And we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. So it wouldn't be anything for us to disobey that. But since we're going to, if you had goals, dreams, bucket list cars or series, if I could get to, you're 80 years from now when you're looking back, you said, wow, it was really cool that I got to.
It would be really cool that I got to fly out to England to drive some
That's right. I
cars.
was going to say
That's
that.
the
I'm like,
answer.
that's she's got a
Drive
bucket list.
to drive some race cars, like legit. I think I got this question the other day actually, and I guess the biggest thing I could say as far as goal wise is I don't want to work in an office the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm 28. I got the bachelor's degree. I'm going for the MBA right now. I have a good job. I work from home. I do the hours. Like I'm lucky, and I appreciate the opportunities that I've been given, and I've definitely worked for them. But can I say that I wake up every day and I'm so excited to get on my work computer and type away? No, I'm not, So I think for me, if I can make something like this where even if I'm flying out to England three times a year,
right,
that's better than not, right?
Absolutely.
So
I'm not going. So you're ahead of me.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I haven't. So many people are asking, like, "Oh, what's your dream? Or what's your dream car? What do you want to do?" And it's so bad to say that I'm just kind of trying to live in the moment, and know where I don't want to be. I know what I don't want to do.
How about a track?
A track.
Is there a
I
track?
actually. For example, I guess I'll start backwards. I actually really wanted to drive Laguna Seca.
Okay.
I've never done it before, but I actually did it last October for the first time, and it was absolutely terrifying going through corkscrew because you
Wasn't
can't
it?
see.
It's crazy.
Yes, it's terrifying because you go up and then you
It's not
can't
there.
see.
Nothing.
And it's not there, and you just hope that you'll be okay. So like the first couple times, like I had to kind of figure out my line and where I was going. So I was 100% going way too far right and going on the rumble strips. So
Right's not good. Right's not good.
But yeah, no. But I figured it out, slowly. But I mean, I'll be driving Silverstone in England.
Wow.
And that's an iconic track.
Mhm.
And I'll have the track. I mean, they're taking care of my insurance, my car, the driver coaches, to say that, like, I'll have that track, probably not to myself, but not as many people there.
Not a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Like what, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So-
if you see a black Mercedes F1 car going by, just wave to them because I'm pretty sure They're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not, somebody asked me that. They're like, oh, so you're going to go to F1? I'm like, no, there are way more qualified people than that. I am not.
Yeah.
Here. Hey, let's not say that. No.
Yeah. How about a race philosophy? What do you tell yourself when you get in the car?
Don't die. Drive fast and don't die. It's probably it.
So far, so good.
I think the biggest thing that I've done some coaching with other people in the car where I was coaching them, and I think the biggest thing I told them is, don't get overly excited that you're out here. Be excited, but drive to your limits. Know that you're not the fastest one out here. Don't try to be the fastest one out here. You have 1 year experience. Okay. Right. You're not in advanced class, and I think that's it. I know what I can do, and I just go out and have some fun and, I'll not push it, like I don't want to hurt anybody or myself, you know what I mean? So and also I trust the car. I know what the car will do and I know what I can do. So just keep that in mind when you're out there.
Yeah. One of my friends who's also an instructor, he told me the one thing that he always tells his students is, listen, don't try to impress me. I'm good. I'm fine. Don't try to impress your instructor. I'm like, that's a good point. So,
don't do that.
No.
Yeah, don't do that.
Usually if you try to, you really, really won't.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Skye Romanoff, my beautiful bride, knows all about what a lemons rally is, but I am 90% sure that she has not a clue what a rally race is, and I am 100% sure that she has no idea what a rally cross is. So could you help her out and some of our listeners who may not be familiar?
Okay, so very simple nutshell terms. Rally is Travis Pastrana in the forest somewhere on a dirt road going 120 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what rally is. That is stage rally. You need a cage. You have a full team. You have a co-driver. That's another thing is rallycross doesn't have a co-driver. Right. Rallycross is basically autocross but in the dirt. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you're familiar with autocross, you're generally at what, like some skid pad somewhere or an open parking lot somewhere, right? And it's divided. The course is divided by cones, right? You have a cone course that you follow, and if you hit the cone, you get X amount of seconds penalty and whatever else, and you have to go through as fast as you can. Then you add up all your times, and that's what your time is. That's basically what rallycross is, but in the dirt. So normally I'm saying normally because I don't know what other people necessarily do, but for my events specifically that I host, you have 6 runs per car, and you go out one at a time. Basically, you're not wheel to wheel, and you go around the course and you get whatever your time is, and then you add those together at the end of all 6 runs, and that's what you get. There are 3 classes that you can run in. It's stock, prepared, and modified, and we can go into a possible bonus for in a second. Stock class is exactly what it is, stock car. OEM parts, no bolt-ons, no suspension, no fun mods or goodies. You can have winter tires on, which is recommended versus summer tires to give you a little extra grip, right? And then you have prepared, which is basically stock with bolt-ons. You can run rally tires in that, but you can't have, E85 conversion or bigger turbos or any of that. Mm-hmm. And then modified is, your full-blown race cars. If, whatever your budget is, as long as it's safe, go have fun, right? And I say a bonus class because some organizers don't run it, some do. You can run like an ATV or UTV, but for me, it's more on a case-by-case basis. Like it needs to be wider rather than taller, and depending on the vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. But generally an organizer will allow that on, like I said, case-by-case. So that's basically what you do.
You know what I heard, Miss Vicki?
What's that?
We need to do this.
I'm really thinking, I think we might have to give it we're probably really going to be getting beaten up in those cars too, right?
I just know they're going to get dirty.
No, not necessarily. I think that's something that people kind of misunderstand with rallycross, right? If you're in a stock and prepared class, most of the time you're not breaking things. It's when people look at my Instagram, for example, and they see my race car and, I break an axle or my recent destroying of my my transfer case, keep in mind too, I've got, 450 foot-pounds of torque in that car. I have every piece of that car except for the front doors is modified. So start modifying your car, you're going to break things, especially when you're, pushing it. Rallycross, you're in first and second gear most of the time, occasionally third. You're not going 80 miles an hour, really. So if you're coming out there with, your daily driver, which most people do, you're not going to be breaking things, really.
Right.
I mean, you're not. And most of the time, if you are, then it's, like I said, it's generally the higher classes. So it's not as dirty. It's not as much as you're going to break everything. It's really just come out, have some fun, drive to your limit, and you're really going to have a really good day. Another thing that's really cool is how much is a track day, right? Like at Laguna, for me to do a track day, what, $300, $400, something like that, right? That's just for a day. Rallycross for a weekend for my events are $155.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, again, other people can charge other things, right? I mean, I don't know what they charge, but it's generally not more than that. And you get a ton of seat time, and it's way more affordable. And you just go out and have some fun.
We need to do this, Miss Vicki.
I'm thinking we do.
We do, because you love skid pads, and this is even more free.
Really?
Yeah. It's dirt.
I mean, if you like getting the car sideways,
right?
This is a good place to do that.
Wow.
I know. I was so excited when I found out. I was talking to Nick and he said you should have her on. I'm like, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We need more.
I'm
ways
actually
to waste
looking
money.
it up online as we're speaking.
Well, that's not going to help with the next section since you're leading it. But, okay.
Luckily, I would tell people if you're looking for a rallycross, CRA, California Rallycross Association, is starting to promote other locations outside of California. So, we have Nebraska on there, we have Utah, we have Arizona, North Texas, Northwest region, which is Oregon and Washington. I try to put other people's events on there, right? So you can see, you can kind of have an idea as far as what rallycross is, how you can get involved, basic facts on there. Hey, look, maybe you're not in California, maybe there's another event near you. And if I haven't put, an event near you on there, I probably will soon. And if you can't find one, I would look up, SCCA Rallycross near me, or, NASA Rallycross, or just go on your Instagram and type in Rallycross. And there's a chapter in Florida. Like, go check them out. I believe there's a chapter in Virginia. So it's pretty simple to find, rallycross events for sure.
And how long do these last?
The rally events, anywhere between a day to 2 days. So my events specifically are a weekend long. Sometimes I'll have, a day and a night rally on one day, which is really cool. Other organizers generally are doing it weekend, maybe just Saturday or Sunday. So yeah.
I think I may have found this one, my dear.
Really?
I did.
You're actively looking.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't I be?
No, we don't need any more cars.
But apparently I need a Subaru. I need a Subaru.
You need a Subaru.
I do.
Another thing that CRA does is I've brought sponsors to drivers, right? So a lot of people don't have access to sponsors. Getting a sponsorship is very hard.
Yes.
Right. If you don't have a social media following, if you don't have a YouTube, or if you don't have a business or whatever, because it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? You have to bring something to the table to them of what you're doing. So I've leveraged my Instagram and my connections and my personal sponsors to bring those to drivers across the country. So, we have EBC Brakes on there. We have Deechworks. We have, Royal Purple. We have Cool Shirt. We have Diodynamics. I'm missing more. We have all of those people coming in to help support what we do. And even if it's a 10% off with free shipping or 15% off with free shipping, that's still something that you can use. Right. That's still money that you got to order brakes anyways. Well, there you go. So
you dig the hole slower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we go to the that car wash down by where we get our cars worked on,
Mm-hmm.
we could get a sponsorship from a car wash. No
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
With all the dirt.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
have.
right. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these tracks and just regular tracks. I guess they put you off into the infield for, I guess.
Depending on where you can go, if you look up, I host at two locations, one of which at Thunderhill Raceway. And then if you ever go to Thunderhill, there's a giant dirt lot right off to the side as soon as you enter. So we'll have it there. Or I'm more recently starting to host events at Marysville FX Park. And that's literally a cross kart track that we just make all the cones and make the course there. So yeah, generally they have to be, well, at least ours are more permanent facilities, but I mean, other people are coming in if they have land, if you can host an event, great.
Yeah. That sounds like.
How do you manage your visibilities? I mean, obviously there's a lot of debris and dust and stuff that gets kicked up.
Do you have a water truck? So depending on the location. So obviously Thunderhill wants us to water more because you have those, $500,000 cars behind us at the track, right? So we generally, we will water. And then at Marysville, they're a little bit more lenient because it's more out in the middle of nowhere. But we do bring out, I don't know, like a 2,000 gallon water truck that will just run it through, every couple, the beginning of every run, basically of every session, like stock class, beginning of their runs, prepared beginning of their runs. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. I mean, you get a little more sliding around, but
That's okay. So before we started recording, I've looked at your Instagram, followed it for a while, just rejoined it for somehow you dropped off. I have no idea why. And it is quite apparent that you do a lot of the work on your cars yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And Vicki does a lot of the work on our cars themselves. So I'm just going to shut up now.
Okay. Well,
lady mechanic bonding time.
So I do the work on my cars because it saves me money.
Yes.
Right? Why would I pay someone, like if I snap an axle, why would I pay someone however much money that's going to be when I could just go get the part in and just do it in an hour, right? And then I get content and then I get to post that. So it's like, it's great, So that's why I do it.
Miss Vicki,
wow.
You're enjoying yourself mechanicking.
I do.
You were surprised when you first started how much you did enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it's just that I don't like sitting at a desk. I don't.
No.
I really like to work with I find out that I really like to work with my hands on just doing things with my hands instead. And I think that's why I just kind of fell into it a little bit. Now, having a lift helps a lot. What kind of jack system do you use for your car?
Jacks.
Oh, quick jacks are awesome.
Yeah, Quick Jack sponsored me about 2 years ago, and I have the black car sitting on the Quick Jacks right now, and I can pull a transmission out with those things at totally, like they actually give me enough room to where I can't do that.
Really?
So, but I don't. Unfortunately, I live in a regular house, so I don't have a big garage. So I don't have access to a lift or anything. So I'm definitely on the ground a lot.
Right.
That's
so
okay.
basically, your garage is your race garage.
Pretty much, and I feel like we need to upgrade because I have three cars. I have the two 2005 WRX Rally cars, and I have the FRS, and then I have a 4Runner. And then I have a Ducati and an R6. And then
your neighbors love you.
Yeah. Well, my neighbor's actually like the VP of the HOA. So like he's actually really cool with us. So if we ever have any issues, like he should really goes to bat for us, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah, but it's definitely getting to the point where it's playing a lot of musical cars, right? And my boyfriend is buying a 2013 M3 because that's the V8.
That's not a Subaru, right?
Yeah, I know. I told him that. I'm like, we're not going to have parts for this, right? Because like I have a full extra '05.
That's the nice part about having all the extra parts that go from car to car.
Yeah, so if the black one breaks, I've been there where the black one breaks and the silver one's sitting there out on course because I'll race them both at the same time, and I'll just pull whatever I need off of that car and put it on the black one. But it's like I can't do that with BMW. Like, plus I worked for BMW like years ago, and I know how many problems those cars have, and I'm just like, all right, well, you have fun with that. So I'm not fixing that.
Well, and plus you also know your car.
Yeah,
and that way, if you go to BMW, yes, there's going to be similarities, but you're going to have to learn how to do everything all over again in certain things.
Things with the Subarus, it's like if I'm driving and I'm like, oh, I know that noise. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And it's like, oh, well, if a weird noise comes out, I'm like, wait, what's that?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that noise before. Like,
yeah,
your problem is fine. Just go. Like,
yeah.
So it's really interesting because we have the 2 motorcycles and the 2 Subarus in the garage, the FRS and the black Subaru in the garage. And it's like, well, I don't really have any other room. It's only a 2-car garage, and we have like the actual driveway. So I'm like, well, where are we gonna put the M3? Like,
right?
So I don't know. That's what happens when you get with another person who likes cars as much as you. They just kind of right.
I know nothing about that. That's not
from what you told me of your like air hanger with like all of your 14 cars.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
We're trying to get rid of them. Matt, you're overdue for a visit. Got a car here waiting for you. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about your travel towards Formula 3. You're going to be working with Fern GP, and you're going out for some practice laps, and you're working your way through different cars. And is that your first time going to be in open wheel cars?
Yeah, it's actually my first time in a single seater. So I'm working on my passport right now. So hopefully, I'm sure all of you know how long it takes to get a passport. So hopefully I can have it by July, right? So I'll fly out there. I'll probably be out there 3 or 4 days. It'll probably be a weekend worth of testing. I've never been in a single seater, so of course they're not going to put me in like their biggest asset car of the Formula 3, right? So I need to work up to that.
Yeah,
not going to do that. No. So they're going to put me in the Ford 1600 and then the 1800, and then like I said, I'll be under the instruction of their professional team. And then, depending on how that goes, this session, then I can go into the Formula 3. But again, it's all depending. Like I need to be ready for that, right? And I think they're going to have me fly out a couple of times, which would be really, really cool. And then potentially, depending on how we go, obviously, maybe drive 2024 for them, but one thing at a time. But I think just having this opportunity to say, hey, if I do get up to the Formula 3 car, like a lot of people don't have that opportunity, right? Like that's a big, I could go to Sonoma, and I know they have like Sonoma Raceway. I know that they have the Formula 3s that you can rent, like just non-commissioned, whatever, like they used to be maybe race cars. And I looked on there, it's like $5 or $6 grand.
Easy.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So it's, unless you have that kind of money, like it's not attainable for a normal person like myself. Right. So, it's definitely something that, like I said, I'm doing everything I can to be my best self out there. Right. Get the personal trainer. Like I'm going 3 to 4 days a week. Right. I'm on a specific diet plan. I'm going and getting very expensive karting lessons, and it's like, I don't care. I want to be prepared.
Right.
But I think it's really cool. Like I said, like they're the first, Britain's first all-female team in these types of cars. And that's so cool. Like talk about promoting women in the industry, right? So very, very cool. But I'm a little nervous being the only person, or probably the only representative from the United States out there.
Wow.
A little nervous. I gotta make us proud.
No, you'll talk funny, but don't worry. They're used to it.
Probably. But like they messaged me this morning, and they have, gear like jackets and pants and, like shirts and stuff, like getting embroidered with, their name and whatever, and probably my name on there. And it's like, it's partnering on a suit together. Like, it's like, oh man, this is this is real. Like, I'm actually going to show up to my events here with their gear on. Like, so part of the team. Like, what? So it's such a great team. They're so nice and just so dedicated to supporting women in the industry. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Because, very much underrepresented. In spite of all we've done on our team, we're still 50-50-ish. We actually might have more females, but we're working on it. But it's not the case for most of the paddocks, and that's sad.
Yeah. I think it's getting better though. Like,
it is.
At my rallycross events, I've had a few girls come out that have never raced before, like period. Never even like track day. They've come out, they're like, hey, I saw you on Instagram, saw your, whatever. I came out, I wanted to try it. And they come out to every single event now. Like, that's pretty awesome.
That
right?
is awesome.
So yeah. So I definitely think we're getting more. And like, I was at PRI over in December, and they had me speaking on a couple panels and autographs and whatever else. And it's like, I remember one of the panel I was speaking on, as soon as I was done, I got off stage, and there was a girl there, and she introduced herself to me, and she's actually in the industry. Like, she's got a Supra, like she races, she does all these things. I'm like, oh, hell yes.
Wow.
Like, thank you for introducing yourself to me. Like, she was super cool. And like, to see that there's other girls like in the audience that were listening to me, and they came up and introduced themselves and, said, hey, I know you and I do this too. I'm like, oh, hell yes. Like, we need this. We need more of this,
100%.
Yeah. Once a year, for sure, we put in a girls only team.
Yep.
And that is like led by and working on by girls, when the guys don't try to jump in and help us. And, but for the most part, if we can, so far we've been about 85 to 90% there about not having the guys on the cars, because they want to come over and they want to help. Like, can we do this for you? Can we do this for you? Or
in a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way. They're not jerks about anything, but it's nice to try to go ahead and say, okay, we'll call you if we're having trouble diagnosing. Okay. Yeah. But for the most part, let us see if we can have the hands on for all the girls. Let's let them have the hands on the cars, and we'll just designate out for the work. Cause usually we have people that's never touched a car either. So I have to tell them what they need to do for that also.
Or you label everything.
We label everything. Yeah, I did that. That was a shtick. That was okay. Okay. For our shtick on our car, is that when I got a Honda, because we had a race truck before, I kept forgetting what the key components were, just fluids and stuff like that, because it was a whole different engine. So I labeled them just with a marker. So because I would have to keep going into my phone to figure out which one is this one, which one is that one, because that's where the picture was. Brilliant. But for our shtick, I decided to label the entire engine.
Everything.
And yeah, so when the judges opened the lid and like, what the heck is that? I was like, but I tell you what, it helped me learn that engine.
I can tell you exactly what that is. Look at this label.
Fast, yeah. Right? And now it's like, I know where everything is. That was the unintended after the fact. I'm like, oh yeah, because I had it paint markered all over it. I mean, it'll all wipe off. It'll all come off.
Yeah.
But I even had like a bolt that said sucking sound. But
where the blow off valve was.
Yeah, but I didn't realize how fast I was going to be able to learn that engine just by going that route than just the traditional route by just going through the books. But it was not planned that way, but it was part of our theme really when we were going in.
I think that's really smart, to be honest, because I think women can be intimidated by coming. I mean, I'll be upfront. I mean, I know my way around a bike right at the time, like when I first started with cars, but when you look at an engine, like how many different pieces, how many different parts and everything. And then, if it's mostly male dominated, then you don't want to necessarily ask, because then maybe you're asking the wrong question, or maybe they don't think you're, not very smart, or all these things can go on in your head. And I think it just comes down to an intimidation factor, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you don't feel like you're good enough. And I think by you doing exactly that, like labeling everything, like you did your own system, but you're able to do it, and you're able to do it the way you wanted, and you overcame that. I mean, you did it. right? So I think that that's something that, other girls should maybe think about, and just say, just come out and do it. It doesn't necessarily matter how you do it, as long as you do it correctly and get there, right?
And you know what? When you're working on an engine too, or working on a car or having a car, you always start out with your brakes, and learning how to change your brakes. And then you're learning how to change like little things in your car, changing the fluids, and that's the basics. But if you happen to be working with a person that does know an engine, or invite somebody over that does know an engine, or go to somebody's place that has an engine and they're doing something and helping, when you have your hands on that car, and you're putting pieces in and you're seeing things and you're doing things, you have that opportunity, you learn so much faster than you would from a book or a video, because you've seen it, you've done it.
You're touching it. You're doing it.
You're touching it. It's kinetic, and I think that after just doing this engine flip, I cannot believe how much I learned when we actually pulled the truck apart one season and then we put it back together. And then this time doing the engine, and I was like, oh yeah, now I know what a crankshaft is. Now I know what a camshaft is. Now I know what the guide pins are. Now I know our big thing was bearings. It was bearings. And I'm like, I thought all bearings were balls, but they're not. Like, that's what we should have named that podcast. Not all bearings are balls, but, doing it and seeing it and watching it and just being involved in it, I cannot believe just how much I absorbed so fast just by doing that. And that's what I would recommend for girls, is just do it, or just be part of it. Just step out,
Absolutely.
And do it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly how I learned. So a lot of people ask me, like, so like, was your dad involved, or, your brother or whatever? And it's like, I don't have parents, right?
No.
I don't have brothers or sisters or anything, right? So I learned, because before Subaru, I worked at BMW in the service department. I was a porter. I was literally a lot porter. But you know what I did after my shifts? I'd go into the garage where the service techs were, and I'd watch them pull motors out of the car. And I couldn't physically touch them, right? Because I'm not technically a mechanic, right? But I would be very close to it, where it's like, he's like, okay, this is what this is, this is how you pull it out. Like, and it just being there, like, did I understand everything he was saying at the time? No. But I do now. And then I got lucky because, obviously being in rallycross, when things happen to break in the higher classes, like, I could watch them do it. Right. And then I met my boyfriend, Jordan, on track, actually, at rallycross. And, he's a mechanical engineer. He's literally a walking Subaru encyclopedia. Like, if I ask him down to the part number what this is, he's going to tell me. So, every time, he's the one who taught me how to, change coilovers, or how to change the brakes, or how to do the cooling, or, whatever else. And he's the one who taught me that, just because I watched him do it. And then he gave me the chance to do it. Really just anybody. It doesn't have to be your boyfriend or anything. You just go out there and watch and, see what you could do.
Our big thing is you just have to say yes and step out your front door.
Yep.
And pick a direction and just get involved with something. And you will not believe how fast that path will take you down into something really cool.
Yep. I think the biggest thing, and especially with this potential, I'm saying air quotes, potential Formula 3 thing, is you're going to miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
If you are, if you're just going to sit there on the couch watching stuff on YouTube, wishing that was you, you're not going to be that unless you go out and do and attempt to do it.
Let's just step out the door.
And I can understand where it's like, oh, well, what if I fail, or what if I'm not this, or what if that, or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter what if. It's not gonna be there if you don't even attempt it, right? So if I'm not gonna try to be my best to go out there in England and drive these cars, I'm never gonna have that opportunity if I just don't do anything about it. What if I go out there and I'm fast and if I do this, like, if I actually do make a team? Oh yeah. If I don't, I still did this. Like, I still had this opportunity.
You drove on Silverstone.
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
It is so easy to talk yourself out of a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it all comes down to what's in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can't doubt yourself. You really can't. You know, sometimes you got to put yourself out there, and it's absolutely terrifying. Whether it's, you know, I've never pulled a motor before, terrifying. It's going to take you a couple days, probably, you know, or if it's me going out to Silverstone, like, it's going to be scary, but you have to do it, right? You got to have that experience.
And you know what I'm noticing too is that if you're out there, especially if you're interested in racing, but this just goes beyond racing, anybody who is involved in an activity or a passion or a group that you go out to, whatever interests that you're into, and say, you know, some people like knitting, or some people, you know, like volleyball, or some people
race knitting.
Or, well, I'm just saying that any of those groups that have a passion for what they're doing are more than welcome to answer any questions that you might have, and they'll actually pull you in. Yeah. So, you know, if you're interested in kayaking, want to get in kayaking groups, don't know anything so much about the kayaking or where to go. Lots of people out there who are doing it that would love to have that. Absolutely. You know, so don't self-doubt yourself. Just, you know, pick whatever interest you have and just step out your door.
If you enjoy it, do it. Like, if you enjoy it, don't worry about being judged. Don't worry about failing, because more than likely, and
they don't care.
More than likely, even if they do judge you, who cares? Like, they don't affect you. They don't pay your bills. They don't come home with you. I mean, you're always going to have those people, right? So who cares?
Yep.
You just do it. I mean,
for a long time, and probably even still, especially when I'm kind of racing, my race motto is, when I'm being muscled on the track, is, I paid to be here too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I paid to use all the track. Damn it, I'm going to use all the track.
That's right. I paid to be here too.
Yeah. So I think it's more of, you know, I am equal. Like, like you said, I paid to be here. Like, I am just maybe not as good as far as on the track. I may not be the fastest person out there, but I still deserve to be out there, right? I still deserve to have that time.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I have to say that race people are the best people.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
So we had a couple people write in on a Instagram post that you put up. Miss Vicki.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
What is that?
Well, you know how we have the One Lap of America coming up?
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It'll be even more exciting if you get to go, but we'll get you there in a year or two. Tough to get away for a week. Both of us.
Yes.
So I have an idea. I'm thinking of hooking up the Sentinel system in the car we take.
Really?
Because then you could watch us. You could see Tim drive well and me drive poorly.
I think that's kind of a cool idea. I really do. So, I mean, how would I do that?
Well, I mean, with the Sentinel, you throw it up on the tube of views on our channel, and you could watch remotely. And you know, if we wanted to, we could do it as we're driving between the tracks, but we'll definitely do it on the tracks. You think that would be fun?
I think that would be a really cool idea.
The only thing that worries me is if we do it with the telemetry. You might call us up and tell us that, you know, we need to go faster than 55 when we're on the track. So,
well, how does it work?
Well, we have the little AIM telemetry in the car, and then the Sentinel system has either 2 or 3 cameras, and then it puts the two together. So you get, like, you know, all the telemetry and all the car data, and makes that part of the video, and then it puts it onto our YouTube channel, and then you could watch it, or anybody could watch it. I don't know why they would watch us, but, you know, they could.
That sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Might be fun.
You think you want to see some of the debacle? I mean, some of the devastating driving that we do.
I think I'd like to see you on one of the tracks at Road Atlanta, or at One Lap America, for sure.
Well, so we could do that for each of the tracks, and if we want to, we could do even a remote video while we're sitting in the car driving between tracks, eating fried chicken, making fun of each other, whatever.
Okay.
I have a feeling our food is going to be let's go with not 5-star, shall we say, for this entire week. So, but you think that would be fun? You'd want to watch that a little bit?
I think I would. Really
Okay.
would.
All right. I guess I have a new project. We're putting it in the new one lap car
I like that idea.
and streaming.
All right.
Right. You know what I think? I think our listeners could get some value out of this too. Because what they do is they go to our YouTube channel, they watch these videos that we put up, and like around sleep time when they're trying to go to bed, and they'll definitely fall asleep. It won't be any problem. It'd be like a lullaby.
They can also write in suggestions in the comment section. Yeah. Please comment.
Yes. Excuse me, Bill, the track went to the left, yet you turned the wheel to the right. Could you please explain? And I will come back with a reply saying it's a very advanced concept. I'm not sure you're up to it. Otherwise known as we haven't finished putting our sim together and I didn't know which way the track went. But anyway, I think that's going to be a plan, my dear.
I think it's good.
All right, very well. One Lap of America, Sentinel, made for each other. And one of them wants to know, does this mean you're leaving your current day gig for life on tracks?
I think it depends. I kind of touched on this earlier. I am not the type that is going to say, oh, I'm going to go start a YouTube and, quit my job and quit my school and quit all of this and go do that. Right. I am established. I have a very good, paying job. I have a degree. I'm working on an MBA. Like if this is something, like if the Formula 3 thing takes off, then we'll worry about it when it gets there. Mm-hmm. Right. But right now, like I'm gonna just take it slow, take it day by day, and go from there and enjoy the experiences as I go. Would it be great if I didn't have to, do what I'm doing right now for the rest of my life? Absolutely. But let's be realistic. How many people want that? I mean, how saturated is this kind of market?
A lot.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, you need to be smart about it, make the right steps to go towards your dreams, but also make sure that you're financially independent and stable behind the scenes in case it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Right. So step by step.
Yeah. We have Ross Bentley on every 50 episodes, just, because he's awesome. And he often reminds you that this is one of the few jobs that there are people who are willing to pay to do what you're looking to get paid to do. Yeah. And that's not common in other work.
It's not. No, it's not. And it's very, very rare if you get the opportunity to do that.
So, you have to take it.
You absolutely have to.
Take the swing, though.
And I think the biggest thing is you need to appreciate it too. And you need to remember where you come from. If you're like me, like I said, like an average normal person, you have an opportunity like this, don't let this get to your head. Remember, hey, I started off at the absolute bottom air quotes, right? Not in this industry. Right. And remember the people who got you to this point or helped support me. Like you guys right now, you guys are helping support me. So of course I'm going to try to remember. Of course I'm going to remember this and try to support you in return, regardless of what happens. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing too, is you have to stay true to yourself. You have to remember the people who helped you, and you have to remember where you come from, because I think that keeps you very grounded as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We try to do that every time we're at the track, because being at the track is awesome, and a very small fraction of the world gets to be on track ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a gift. It really is. It's a gift that you're given, and whether it's one track day or 100 a year, you're still doing something that maybe somebody else couldn't have done. So appreciate that and remember what the day was, and take advantage of everything you have at your feet at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So we've got a two-parter, and then we get to go to the Fast and Furious Storytime questions. But the two-parter, and you both get to answer this one. What advice do you have for young women who want to get started in motorsports?
I'll let you go first.
Well,
show up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Show up.
Just try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just step out. I mean, for motorsports, And we've talked about this before. You can start out at an autocross. You can start at, which is very cheap to do, and you can pretty much use your own car. You could show up at an HPDE and just step out. I mean, there's little organizations that are around you to start, but the first thing, like we discussed earlier, is just to get a helmet and show up.
Yeah,
that's all.
I can agree with that. You think, like I was saying earlier, like you miss all the shots you don't take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a woman in the industry and maybe you follow, maybe you know me, I'm going to an event, just come out. You don't even need to drive. Because more than likely, if you come out, I'll probably still put you in my car and take you for a fun run, right? And we can have that connection. You can see what it's like, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to help support all women in the industry. So, like she was saying, start off something affordable. Going into a time attack series or Formula 3 series or hill climb and all like that takes money and that takes a lot of time and a lot of skill. Let's maybe dial back a little bit and start off with an autocross or rallycross because I do those. I also do many of those.
Yep. Yeah.
Rallycross is on the list now.
Rallycross. Yeah, you should do that. Just come out and do rallycross. Another thing on rallycross is if you can do rally, you can do anything. Because if you can control the car in the dirt, you can control the car on pavement.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just come out. Whether even if it's a car show, just go out and say hi. If you walk up to a car and you see something you really like, I guarantee you, if you ask the owner, hey, I like this piece, who made it? What do you recommend? I guarantee you he or she would love that and they would 100% talk to you.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we invite people out all the time and I'm sure you do as well.
For us, it has always been, I mean, wanting to win and winning is one thing, but we have been always very much into introducing people into the sport and giving them opportunities in our cars, and especially at HPDEs. You haven't done it, we have shoes, we have helmets, we have whatever you need to just come. We'll feed you. You just show up. Right. I said, I said, show up and, you can, take one of our cars out. And, we have, I don't know how many people we've got hooked on the sport right now.
64.
Lots of people. Yeah. We have lots of people that have come out and have started and just have stuck with it. So
awesome.
That's been more of our goal, has been, as we learn, sharing. I think more has been about sharing, getting people on track. I think that's what really jazzes us the most.
There's going to be something out there for you, whether it's track, whether it's dirt, whether it's car shows, whether it's any of that. There's going to be something out there for you. You just need to look for it and reach out to somebody and tell somebody about it. That's it. Like if you DM me, I'll probably respond. You can ask anything you want, and I can help point you in the right direction. I get a lot of people that are like, hey, I don't know where rallycross is. I'm in New England. Where do I go? I'm like, all right, well, here you go. Here's the link. Go have fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like, where do I start?
Exactly.
We can help you with that.
Exactly. GarageSharesandTraining@gmail.com. By the way, I misspoke. It's 54, not 64. I just checked again.
Okay.
And finally, unless something else comes in, but we've got more questions. Don't worry, you're not done yet. What have you learned in rallycross that could potentially benefit you in Formula 3?
Again, possibly Formula 3. Possibly, air quotes. I think I kind of mentioned this 2 or 3 minutes ago, that if you can do rally, you can do anything, right? So I think a lot of people get really nervous when the car steps out and it starts kind of sliding and you maybe don't know how to correct that, or you don't know how to power through it and get through. Mm-hmm. So one thing with rally is that if you'll learn how to have car control while you're out there. I mean, you have to. Right. So I think with that, it's also nice too, because rallycross is not your typical racing where if I show up to Laguna Seca, it's the same track every day. A rallycross, every single day, every single event is always going to be different. So you have to be able to adapt very quickly to the track, the conditions, your competitors, and everything that you're doing. You have to adapt to it. Otherwise, you're not going to do well. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that, being able to adapt and having that car control that I have I think will 100% affect, me potentially driving Formula 3, because, how fast are those cars going? Like what, 180? Right? 170. So
Hopefully.
I don't know how fast, that's terrifying to think of. But, I don't know how fast the Formula Ford 1600 and 1800s go. Like obviously I'm going to be starting in those, but I would assume it'd be similar skill sets are going to be moved over to them as well.
Mm-hmm. Car control is key, and you guys are good at it. All right. So I'm sorry to report this, but you are going to be subjected to the Fast and Furious story time questions.
Oh, wow. We're going to go all in, aren't we?
We are. It's too much fun because next
I haven't
time.
seen the last 4 movies, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No,
they're not that.
It's not that.
Okay.
Okay.
It's fast with a small f, furious, small f. Not the movies.
These are just like questions that we ask to get to know you a little bit better, and they're not so much about racing, but they are about cars.
Some are.
Okay.
Like shotgunned at me super fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, something like that. Yeah.
As fast as you like.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah. So no, they're fun. They're fun. So anyway, what was your first car, and what was the worst car you ever had?
2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. That was also the worst car I've ever had.
That is a common answer.
Yeah. So it was a 5-speed. I learned how to drive stick on it. I learned within like a day, and then I got thrown into Bay Area traffic. So I had to learn real quick on how to speed on that. And I was like 20 or something, and I was the type that I like to plasti dip things.
Yeah.
So
we did a whole race car that way.
I didn't. Yeah, it was a race car, air quotes, right? So I didn't even prep the wheels. I just spray painted black plasti dip on it, and then I didn't even prep the side skirts. It was silver, so like I just had a color scheme going on, right? But the side skirts didn't even prep it. Just spray painted it on there, and then I got green LED halo lights, like halo bulbs with new actual like headlights. I put those in there. Those actually look pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of proud of this, but like I went full rice with it, like as far as like a cheap 20-year-old on like a $13 an hour minimum wage budget can afford.
That's fantastic.
I managed to completely destroy that car. I learned what not to do in that car. I ended up pretty much blowing the motor. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a Mitsubishi. You're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
All righty. So so there's a future podcast guest. He just doesn't know it yet. Spike Ferenston. He's got another podcast. And he has this concept called a taproot car. It's the car that got you to be the car girl or the car guy that you turned out to be. It could be a Matchbox car. It could be a car in the neighborhood. Could be a model. What was the car that got you, or might be a motorcycle with you? So what was the one that got you?
I would say it's a bike. Yeah. Because it all started with the bikes, right? Like, I mean, the Eclipse was great, even though it was just a cheap piece of crap that I bought for like $4,000. I mean, I guess you could say it kind of started with that too, but just the bike, I would say, I might get flamed for this, but I actually enjoy riding more than I enjoy like driving, right? And I can't describe how much I love riding. Like I have a 2020 blue Yamaha R6, and I absolutely love that bike. Like I can never get rid of it, right? It's my 4th bike, and I would say it's probably just a starter bike. The one that really, really sealed the deal for me was probably my 2007 Honda CBR 600R. It was my first actual more race style bike. I had a Ninja 650 before. It was a 2-cylinder, so it had a little bit of torque, but it's definitely more on the beginner side of bikes. And as soon as I got on the CBR, just the seating position was different. The throttle was way more touchy. I mean, it was just a monster for me at the time. I'm like 100 pounds. So like, it was definitely a lot of bike for me. And I think that's kind of what really, really sealed it, if that makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that nobody knows about you that would surprise them?
do we have like a category to kind of go? That's kind of broad.
A little bit.
Do you
it's not
play an
nobody.
instrument? Do you have anything?
Oh, like non-car related?
Doesn't have to be car related.
Doesn't have to be car related. I play a lot of Xbox.
Oh,
All right, that's cool.
I don't know if that's something other people know, but I don't like stream or anything. And a lot of people, I do post a little bit on my stories, but I don't really promote it. But I guess it's something that I've been doing since like, gosh, I was like 4th grade. So my first video game was the original Tomb Raider, right on the PS1. And I ended up going to a garage sale with my mom at the time, and we ended up seeing the Tomb Raider like PlayStation 1 disc with the Tomb Raider Game Secrets book, right? And I'm like, it was like $5 or whatever it was at the time. I'm like, Mom, can I have this? And she's just like, okay, whatever. I started playing it, I got hooked. So I would say probably like a side note on like something that nobody ever knows, like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is probably my idol, like 100%, right? And like I just ever since then I played all the Tomb Raider series, and then it's just something I just love, and I'd never play with anyone because it's like my little getaway from everyone, if that makes sense. So
Vicky's the same.
yeah, I'd be fun. Like if I'm playing like Destiny 2 or whatever, I've played with other people before, but especially like if they're off of Instagram or something, it generally turns into more of like car related or anything like that. It's like, I really just want to zone out and not really think about all of that, So I will, and when I game, like when I'm not in school, because I'm in school right now, and I feel like if I'm in school, I should be studying, not gaming, right? I will go for like 12 hours, like easily.
Oh, wow.
Like I'll just wait and I'll just play all day if I have the weekend to myself. Yeah. Like on the off season, like in December, I didn't have anything else to do. Like my car was broken and it's raining and cold. So, all right, well, I'm not in school right now. It's rental break. So go for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what is your race car number and why? And do your cars have names?
Yes and yes. So I have 3. I have 3 race cars, right? Charmander, the black WRX with the broken transfer case. She's number 56. And that actually came from my boyfriend's number. That's his number is 56. And then the FRS is 57, right? Have to be consecutive. And then the silver WRX, she's either 56, 56-1 if we're 2-driver car, right? Because you just pull off the 1 number, or she's 57 if I'm just driving her, because he drives too. Like we both compete at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is there a Y to those numbers?
No. Just
okay.
He picked 56, and then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just do 57. Actually, no, there is. I lied, because if he ever places, which he places podium a lot in the rally series, and then I'm not good enough to do that. But if I ever do, then it could be like 56 and then 57, right? Like right after each other. I think that was pretty cool. And then names are Charmander for the black one, because she'll pop a little flame out the back sometimes.
Oh, very nice.
I thought that was and then the silver one is Rexy. And then the blue FRS, her name is Breezy. And then the Yamaha, his name is Palpatine. Because, fun fact, all of my bikes have been Sith. All of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, my 650 was Vader. He was silver. He was like a dark, like really dark gray, like silver. And for some reason, I called him Vader. And then my CBR was black and red, so that of course was Maul, Darth Maul, and then obviously Palpatine because I have a blue R6. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Sith. That's
You're on
another
You're on the right podcast for this type of stuff. So there you go.
Yep.
So, what is a car from your family that sticks out in your mind?
I don't really have family.
Okay.
So I've always kind of really been on my own, really.
Okay.
We don't need to go into that, but really, I would say just maybe a car that I've always maybe wanted. Is that
How about
okay?
that? How about that?
That sounds better.
So a friend of mine is an importer. He's out of Reno, and he and I recently talked about me importing an Evo 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So again, like it's money and all the other what normal people have to go through to get a car, like paying for it, right? But I really want to go out once I graduate with my MBA. I really want to go to Japan.
Oh, nice.
And Jordan, my boyfriend, he's part Japanese. So, and his mom speaks Japanese. So it's like, okay, we can bring them with us, right? And it's like, if I go out to Japan, because obviously the car scene there, maybe I can pick up an Evo 5 when I'm out there. So I don't know why, but I will 100% probably rally it maybe once, but I really just want to keep it stock and nice and just pay it for test, you know? But I want it to be red. Really, really want it to be red. So that's kind of like the thing I'm really kind of trying to go for right now is that.
Can't imagine parts are very easy for an Evo 5.
Yeah, that's part of why I don't want to rally it, because if I break it, I'm kind of screwed. So I really don't want to do anything to it though. I mean, no tent, no cage, no nothing, just wheels, maybe lower it a little bit, not like Stancy Boys, and just leave it. That's it. Like, that's it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So as Miss Vicki starts to roll her eyes, we are a very giving podcast, and we're going to win the lottery. And with the winnings from our very large lottery, we're going to buy a desert island, and we're going to put a racetrack on it, and it will have a dirt track and a paved track. And we want to make sure that all our podcast guests are treated properly, and we thank them appropriately. So we need to know what 5 cars and or bikes we need to have on our island for when you come.
Okay, so is it just for podcast people, or is it other people that want to come out and experience it too? Or is it just
we are givers, and we just want to make sure that you are taken care of. And if you want to bring a friend or whoever you want to bring, feel free.
I mean, having an island, that's very broad, and you didn't really explain all the rules on this.
There are no rules.
I'm pretty sure if you go like a little out there. So if I had an island to myself, 100% want to have the rallycross community, Northern California rallycross community specifically, because I know them specifically, to come out and experience this. And if we have like 5, pardon my language, like shitbox Subarus, like NAs, so they don't break, and just like all of us just go full send out there, and we video it, and we have like this huge bonfire and like all of the community together. Like that would be really, really cool.
That would be fun. You are the second person who has not with this was not a rally person, but they were a Spec Miata person, and they said they wanted to have 5 Spec Miatas and just have a party.
Yeah,
same thing.
That's right.
Same thing.
I would say have 4 and then a backup car when one of the 4 breaks.
We'll have backup cars. We'll do. I mean, we won the lottery.
Well, I didn't know what the rules were. So
we built an island. We can afford a low cost Subaru.
So wait a minute. So are you telling me I don't need to bring shitbox Subarus like NA 99s? Because like those are like $3,000. If you're like multimillionaires,
I mean, easily.
My sister wanted a taco truck.
She did.
All right, I mean, we could do that. Yeah,
so you can have Colin McRae's Subaru if that's what you want. I mean, whatever you want.
I want the family there. I want the rallycross family there, and whatever you'll buy us for cars. How about that?
Okay.
I don't care.
Right.
You can bring anything. If you get me a helmet and you just put me in that, I will rally it. Like I will show you things that you probably didn't do or didn't know were possible or didn't think you could do in that car.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like we're gonna have a rally school at the island for a while.
Yeah.
This could be fun. This island's getting great.
Yeah. What was your most memorable breakdown on road or track?
Oh gosh. Can you pick a year maybe? Pick like
in the past 6 months or
year? Oh man. Okay. I guess the only thing that's like really sticking out with me right now, and this could happen anytime, but like the time I'm thinking of right now is I was racing the silver WRX, and both my motor mounts snapped.
Oh no.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and then my axle died, so I don't know what came first. All I know is I was out there and I shifted down to first, trying to come out of like this like kind of hard turn a little bit, and just the car just died. Like it kept running, but I had like no power. Like you just knew it's like, okay, I'm on 3-wheel drive right now. Like great. And like I had to be trailered AK by a tractor and like a tow hitch right out of the track. And like, I just remember just like bringing the car back and like looking at my completely obliterated axle. Like I was actually pretty proud of it, to be honest. And then seeing that, wait a minute, like when I tried turning the car over, you could just hear the motor just bouncing everywhere.
Whoops.
Yeah. So I would say, because at that point, like I couldn't race it afterwards. Like and both, when I say both the mounts were snapped, I mean, they were literally apart, like on both sides. So,
that's a problem.
Yeah, I couldn't even race after that. Like I couldn't even do it. I mean, it's not like I could just go to O'Reilly's and go get a part and come back. So
wow.
Yeah, that's probably, but there's like so many, like there's so many times.
And we know.
Like,
we know.
You guys know. Like,
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Charmander is broken probably half the year. Like, you know, she has like 54,000 miles on her. And like
they're earned.
In 3 years ago, she had 54,000 miles.
Well, that's not the goal. Miss Vicki, I think she needs to come race with us.
Yeah, right.
She's silly enough.
I'll bring her out to England if that's a thing. I'll come
that'll
race
be
her. Come out to England.
No worries. We can figure something out. So Miss Vicki has a sister who races with us, and she wasn't able to attend tonight. But her favorite question on our silly little list is, what is your favorite car movie or car from a movie of all time? Could be TV too.
I don't know, because I don't.
Could be a motorcycle. I mean, you're a motorcycle girl, so you know you get to do both.
I mean, okay, so I don't want to like say anything to make me sound retarded, but like I don't watch movies.
We've had that.
Like,
don't worry, you're far from the first to say that.
Okay, because like I mean, the only thing that's sticking out of my mind right now is like, I don't know which Matrix movie this was, but when they had the Ducatis like jumping over like on the freeway, and like they had like, I think it was black, and they had the black Ducatis like jumping over like trucks and stuff on the freeway. I don't remember. It was like a really old one.
I think it's the second one.
Okay, so at least you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I think maybe that one, but like I don't want to say like Fast and the Furious because that's just cliche and everybody says that. Even though they are cool, I'm not gonna lie.
And we've had Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as their favorite car. So
that's actually a fantastic movie. That was I love that movie as a kid.
All right, Miss Vicki, you got the last one?
Yeah. Let me see off our list here.
Many good ones. It's hard to stop.
I know.
We have like 30 more, so you know, you'll have to come back on. You know, we would love to have you back on after you go out to England and give us an update.
Sure,
we're dying to know.
Yeah, I'll have like updates. Like I wanna show people like progress, like updates. Like, hey, this is my story on how I potentially got here, air quotes.
That would be fantastic. Yeah. Couldn't wait for that.
Yeah. So, okay. This is one of my favorites. If for the rest of your life you could only daily drive and race cars from one decade in the past, what decade would you choose?
Current, because they're more reliable.
Okay.
Not if we're fixing them.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, so like 05 WRX, like I keep my stuff nice. Like, you know, she's the silver one's 250,000 miles, original motor, original trans, like not rebuilt, nothing. She keeps going, she's reliable. But like sometimes, I mean, she's old. Like sometimes she's moody, right? But if I get like a newer car, like you have that new car feeling, like everything's new, the bushings aren't worn out, you know, you don't have a blown clutch from some fucktard who owned it, you know, 6 months ago. Like it's nice. You know what I mean? So I would say anything new. Like I'm tired of fixing things.
Not sure that's going to be the solution to never fixing things anymore, but it'll help you a bunch.
But it's nice to think about. That's
right. And parts should be plenty. Well, I don't know with post-COVID, but anyway. So my dear, you have quite the exciting year coming up. If people want to follow along and see, if they want to contact you, if they want to go see your brandy new spanking new website, how would they go find you?
So starting off with the website, because that's really, really what I want to promote, like, because ultimately the more people that know about CRA, California Rallycross Association, is really what helps the grassroots community, right? The more people that know, the better. So in order to find us, it's literally rallycra.com, like rally, California Rallycross Association, but the initials.com, and that's it. And on there, you'll see, you know, everything you need to know about rallycross. It's like an intro crash course to rallycross is on there, regardless of where you're at. And then me, if you were so inclined, it's Blanco Racing WRX_05, or just look up Skye Rally, and I'm sure you'd find me.
Yep. And surprisingly enough, you were not the only Skye Romanoff on Instagram, which was kind of who knew?
I didn't know that.
I know. No, I did that today. I was like, why are we not following her again? Anyway, but we do, and we will. And we wish you nothing but the best, and good luck, hopefully, on your path towards Formula 3. And enjoy the ride either way. That should be great fun.
I will definitely keep you guys updated. Like, this is, again, like one step at a time.
Exactly.
Get ahead of ourselves, but we'll see. I mean, it's possible. So, yeah.
Well, either way, enjoy every little step and
absolutely
take lots of pictures.
Yeah, I told my boyfriend, I'm like, we're going out there and you need to have everything on video 100% of the time. I will edit it later.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so much easier to hit delete than to say, oh, I don't have that one. So yes, exactly. 100% agree. Can't wait. Good luck. Enjoy the trips and the travels and every little bitty step. And we are rooting for you, and we will be following along.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You so much.